after Mitt Romney's big decision yesterday to support the nominee, Republicans are feeling a little bit more confident today. It's a little bit of a spring in their step, if you will. And they're now a little bit more confident, not just about the vote, but actually how it's going to help a lot of their races. Well, check out this headline in The Hill. It says, Senate Republicans see a Supreme Court confirmation vote before Election Day is a big political boost that could help them retain their majority in November. So will this battle over the Supreme Court nominee actually help them retain the majority and help them in their tough races? Let's ask someone who probably knows the answer. Joining us now is Trump's campaign pollster, Jim McLaughlin. Jim, welcome back.
Great to be here, as always.
Thanks for doing it. All right. So Mike Rounds was quoted by The Hill as saying, very honestly, we think the Democrats are in the wrong spot on this particular issue. We think when they start talking about their threats, about what they would do if we continue to proceed with this, we don't think that's the spot where they're going to want to be, right? So he thinks that not only does this nomination look good, right, but that all these threats to pack the court, to blow up everything, is going to backfire on these senators for re-election. So let's just talk about the folks in battleground states, right? So your Cory Gardners in Colorado, Tom Tillis in North Carolina, those kind of folks. How does this decision help or hurt them?
Look, I worked on two of the races last cycle in the Senate races, Rick Scott's race and Josh Hawley's race, where we beat incumbent Democratic senators. And we saw how the Kavanaugh nomination helped them back then, and we think it's going to help us now. And one of the big ways that it helps us, it allows the American people, once again, to see how extreme the Democrats are. What the president is doing right now, he's just following his constitutional duty. He has the ability to, and he's supposed to, appoint and nominate a Supreme Court justice. And the Democrats are just going crazy. They're talking about packing the courts. They're talking about getting rid of the Electoral College. They're talking about impeaching the president again. And it just goes to show you, how far out of the mainstream that the National Democrats are right now.
Yeah, so NBC had this headline that says that GOP senators in tight races, the Cory Gardners, the Tom Tillises, the Martha McSallies in Arizona, are sharply different in their Supreme Court strategies, right? Some are embracing this and some aren't. If you were advising any of those folks, what would you tell a Republican incumbent senator in a tight race to do right now?
I'd tell them, one, follow their conscience. Two, follow the Constitution. And three, let's wait to see who the president nominates, because that's going to really affect things here. And by all accounts, it looks like everybody who's being considered, and obviously those decisions are made way above my pay grade, but it looks like he's really got some special people that he's looking at right here. And of course, the Democrats, once we do get a nominee, they're going to try to bork them or Kavanaugh them or whatever you want to call it. And I think it's going to be really difficult for the Democrats to do that when you look at the outstanding choices that the president seems to be looking at here.
Yeah, I think you need your base juiced. And if you don't do this, then your base is going to walk on you and you're screwed. So I would think that the first thing I'd say is do your job, vote for it, and then continue to campaign. So.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. And in many ways, on both sides, this is a base election.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think the president is looking at this as a political decision. You know the president. He views polls as a necessary evil. At the end of the day, he does what's in his gut. He does what is the right thing to do. He doesn't base off how he governs off of polls. And I think at the end of the day, people know this is the right thing for him to do. And by the way, it's been done 29 times in the history of the United States. Right. So what he's doing is not anything unusual.
I want to show you one interesting poll, Jim, because it shows that there is a little bit of a divide. Reuters came out with this showing preference on timing for replacing RBG's seat. This is crazy. After the election, 62%. Before the election, only 23%. My question to you is, one, who are these people? Yeah. And is this going to affect Trump's support if there are Republicans who think that he should wait and then he fills the seat?
A lot of this has to do with how you ask the question.
Yes.
And I've seen some out there, they put it in, they held up Merrick Garland and blah, blah, blah. There was a poll that was taken literally the day after, unfortunately, Judge Ginsburg passed away. I believe it was in The Hill, that 2/3 of Americans said, yes, he should fill the Supreme Court appointment. And I think, look, I'm a pollster. I love polls. But again, a lot of this is going to be dependent upon who he chooses and how that person holds up during the confirmation hearings.
So that's a good question. I asked this to Jim Jordan earlier in the show. The two leading candidates right now seem to be Amy Coney Barrett and Barbara Lagoa. Obviously, the political folks think that Lagoa really helps him in Florida. From a polling standpoint only, does it matter which one he picks?
You know, again, I think the most important thing isn't going to be a poll. It's going to how they do during the nomination process. Because we all know, when you think about how the Democrats treated Brett Kavanaugh last time, think about what they did to Bill Barr last time that he came in there and voluntarily, they wouldn't let him finish an answer. So, and I think from what I've seen, what I've read, I think both these candidates would be outstanding picks, and they both bring a lot to the table.
I just want a name. Like I mean, I know I'm not going to get it. You're too good. That's the problem. All right, Jim.
Sean, you worked in the president's White House.
I know.
So at the end of the day, it's his decision.
I know. But I just figured I'd try. I got to try. Anyway, Jim, we'll know who it is Saturday. Let's have you back next week, and we'll start doing a little bit more analysis. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Looking forward to it. And happy birthday, Sean.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Liberal loudmouth and defund the police activist, same thing, had a disturbance on her property. Guess who she called when she had a problem? It wasn't a yoga instructor or a therapist, if you get my drift here. We're going to discuss who she called and the latest example of Hollywood hypocrisy with our company when we get back.